That's messed up. Got to fix that. Medic, thanks so much for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate it. No, I gotta start recording first. There we go. So AMD just finished their announcement of their products at CES, and I'm here back in the future to report all of it to you. And there's a lot of crazy good stuff and a lot of disappointing stuff and a little bit in between, but AMD really came out with some heavy hitting products, starting off with their mobile lineup, specifically the Ryzen 7040 series. AMD is announcing their new Ryzen 7000 series of mobile CPUs, and they've kind of confirmed this in the past that they are going to be shifting away from their traditional naming scheme on these laptops, whereas before the number would indicate what generation it is, whereas 5000 would have meant that it was on Zen 2, and then you would expect 6000 would mean Zen 3. However, AMD broke from that, and you could get 6000 was Zen 2 or Zen 3. Well, now it's just more confusing with the Ryzen 7000 because you can get Zen 2, Zen 3, or Zen 4, but the 7040 series specifically is going to be the Zen 4 chips, so the latest generation, and these are going to be either for the mainstream stuff or for the high-end gaming, including something like the Ryzen 7045, which is 16 cores, 32 threads, has 80 megabytes of total based on 5 nanometers, and has RDNA 2 GPUs with DDR5. But the most impressive thing for me, even though that Ryzen 9 is going to be great in the high-end laptops with an RTX 4090, the one that I care the most about is the 7040 itself, which is Zen 4, 8-core, 16 threads, but it's based on 4 nanometers, and it actually has 12 RDNA 3 compute units. So that's on the latest AMD GPUs. They're going to be shipping that. I believe they said that's coming out in March. These things are going to be insane in terms of just mobile performance. Hopefully, we start seeing them come to handhelds. This would be the perfect upgrade for a Steam Deck. If I'm just being straight up honest, I would love to see that. Hopefully, we can get other handheld manufacturers to bring that to us, but AMD definitely delivering hard in the mobile form factor, showing off benchmarks, showing that it's faster than Intel's 12th gen, even though 13th gen just got announced, showing that it's faster than an M1 Pro, but it has a lot of goodness to it. I'm very, very excited for that 7040. You got things like the 7945HX, which is going to be their top-of-the-line chip, 75-watt TDP, likely going to be paired with high-end GPUs, but a lot to be celebrated there. Now, here comes the middling part of the show for CES. AMD coming out with their X3D chip announcements, which everybody was hoping that it would happen. I didn't even think that they were going to mention it, let alone give us a release time. And it turns out, yes, indeed, we are getting X3D chip AMD, which can be up to 40% faster than the previous 5800X, which can be up to 30% faster than the previous gen 5800X3D. So we're getting the 7800X3D with 8 cores, 16 threads, 7900X3D with 12 cores, and then the 7950X3D with 16 cores. And they all have the same exact clock speed as the non-3D chip variant. So these are looking to be great processors, and that they're going to beat out other chips. But there's a little complication here. Number one, AMD showed off the 7950X3D, beating the 13900K by like roughly 10% in 4 benchmarks, not providing a whole lot of detail. So I wouldn't necessarily trust anything, obviously, until third-party benchmarks come out. AMD did say that these are releasing in February. Some leaks indicate that it's actually going to be February 16th, but AMD did not mention pricing at all. And one would guess that if they were confident that this was going to be a good value chip, they would have mentioned it. However, there's like a lot of reasons why AMD probably wouldn't want to, including the fact that it would hamper the sales of the current generation of chips. They are already not selling well. AMD announced the non-X version of the chips, which something like the 7700 is going to cost $329. The 7700X is selling for roughly $350. What do you price the 7800X3D at when the 7900 is coming in at $429? Is that at $499? Then that puts it within $50 of the 7900X. And then is the 7900X 3D at $599 or is that $649? Because that's where the 7950X is on sale. And then the 7950X 3D, is that at $699 or does that go up closer to $800-900? There's a lot to be answered by AMD at the moment with their X3D chips. The benchmarks do make it seem like it is going to be a very fast chip for gaming, but AMD only showing 4 games, not really super convincing, not giving us pricing details, either for not wanting to cannibalize their own product lineup, either for not wanting to piss off gamers right now, or because they want to hold it really tight to their chest and see and play games with Intel. That could be a possibility. Given AMD's track record as of late, it could be the latter or it could be the former, where these things might not actually be that ready and they're not actually super confident in them, kind of like the 7900X, kind of like the 7900 series GPUs, which had to get delayed and then still cropped up with a ton of issues, including power draw, as well as the vapor chambers not working effectively. But we also did get more GPU announcements. In case you're interested in those, RDNA 3 graphics are coming to laptops. Yeah, you guessed it. AMD announcing a slew of 7000 series laptop GPUs, 7600M XT, 7600M, 7700S, as well as the 7600S, which all look to be fairly respectable in their product categories. Comparing frame rate, the 7600M should definitely be faster than the 6600M. And you can see here the benchmarks of the XT versus the 3060, 12 gig and the 3060 8 gig. Even showing that it beats the desktop version of the RTX 3060. The 7700S beating out the 6700S and should be coming to a whole bunch of laptops later this year. Several of them launching in February, with more of them to come at a later date. So AMD having a lot of products being announced in those product lineups. Where's the MI300? I need to get the MI300 news. Nope, that's not. There we go. But the biggest drop that AMD had, the largest, hugest, humongous thing that I would be so excited for, is APU, my friends. But it's not the one that you would expect, because they showed off their Instinct MI300 chip, which is going to go into data centers. But this is the beefiest APU that you've seen in your entire life. I quipped that I would love to see this in a Steam Deck, but it's going to have Zen 4 cores, CDNA 3 architecture, and a ton of other specs. Here's Dr. Lisa Su holding it on stage. That thing is a behemoth whopper of a chip, and it's going to have 146 billion transistors, 128 gigabytes of HBM3 memory, as well as the fact that it's going to have 3D stacking on both the CPU and the GPU in the chiplet process that it's bringing in, which is also going to have 5 and 6 nanometers. It's crazy. There's a lot of engineering that went into this. This looks to be insane, and it's going to be the world's first data center integrated CPU plus GPU. It looks wild. It's probably going to cost a beefy penny. It's wow. Now let's segue to Passprat, who's going to talk to you about other things. Yeah, that's good. All right, we're all done with that recording. So now I just need to make sure I have the sources so that I can cite them for the article. Don't want to take anybody's hard work without pointing people to it. MLA or APA? Hot News A. Just make sure I get everything put in there. And I need to get this uploaded to my editor. And I would like to go to bed before midnight, hopefully. That is what I'm going to be gunning for. Oh, thanks so much for the sub, Igor. Holy crap, what is going on with these? Who made them massive? What's going on with these stream avatars? Yep, that's good. That's all good. Right, that's filmed. Now let me get everything onto the computer so that I can upload it to our editor so that she can get this done for Hot News in the morning. It's currently the plan. Can't even see myself. Yeah, that's because it's like, it's a blending overlay because it's actually not on this computer. It's a whole thing that I had to do.